Questions 1 through 4 refer to the following methods of solid waste disposal and treatment. A. Sanitary landfill. B. Incineration. C. Discharge to sewers, streams, and rivers. D. Chemical treatment. And E. Biological treatment. So before moving on to the questions, let's define each of these different solid waste disposal and treatment methods. So A. Sanitary landfill. A sanitary landfill is typically just a landfill where waste is disposed in this landfill, but emissions can be released in this landfill through leachate and other methane-producing areas. Incineration is just the burning of this waste, and this does release negative emissions into the environment, but it does also reduce the volume of waste. C. Discharge to sewers, streams, and rivers. This is just water pollution, where extra chemicals or pollution is just dumped into bodies of rivers, bodies of water. D. Chemical treatment. This is the use of chemicals to neutralize and take care of dangerous aspects of the pollution. And then E. Biological treatment is the use of microorganisms to break down materials in the pollution. So now let's try to map each of these answer choices to one of these four different questions. A. Which method reduces the volume of waste but could release toxic emissions into the atmosphere? So A is sanitary landfill. This would be incorrect because the landfill doesn't reduce the volume of the waste, although it does release toxic emissions through leachate and other methane-producing aspects of the landfill. So A wouldn't match to 1. B. Incineration. This would make sense because incineration would burn the pollution or the waste, and this does reduce the volume of the waste, and at the same time does release toxic emissions because the burning of this waste could release some chemicals or metals into the atmosphere. So B seems to be the correct answer. But let's look at other choices. C. Discharge to sewers, streams, and rivers. This is incorrect because discharging to sewers, streams, and rivers doesn't reduce the volume of the waste. It simply dumps this pollution into the bodies of water. And it could release toxic emissions into the atmosphere, but because it doesn't reduce the volume of the waste, C wouldn't make sense in this case. D. Chemical treatment. This is incorrect because chemical treatment doesn't reduce the volume of the waste, nor does biological treatment, because these don't reduce the volume of the waste. And because of this, B would make sense for option A, for question 1. 2. Which method is used most frequently in the United States today? So the method that's used most frequently of these 5 is sanitary landfill. It's dumping the waste or pollution into a landfill. So question 2 would map to A. 3. Which method introduces microorganisms to break down hazardous organic compounds? So looking at these answer choices, we can clearly see that option choice E clearly uses microorganisms to break down these organic compounds. So E would match to question 3. 4. Which method would be best suited for neutralizing the acidic components of waste? So this clearly maps to option choice D because chemical treatment neutralizes these components, and therefore question 4 maps to D. So looking at this, the answers would be B, A, and D.